You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another anime review. Today's review, I'm going to be talking about Mazinger Z vs. Devilman. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different because I couldn't find this movie officially anywhere. Nor could I find a version with English subtitles. However, someone was kind enough to upload the Italian version to YouTube. So bearing that in mind, and the fact that I don't speak any Italian, other than the fact that I do speak some Spanish, and they are very similar languages, so I could understand a little bit of what was said, but not very much. But with that in mind, I pieced together the plot by the few words I did understand in addition to what was actually going on the screen. It was pretty self-explanatory for the most part with what was actually happening on the screen though, so that was helpful. Also, keep in mind that I am a lot more familiar with Devilman than I am Mazinger Z, so I don't know most of the character names for Mazinger Z, but I do know a lot of character names for Devilman. Let's get to the plot. So this movie opens with Mazinger Z fighting some robots, and then Siren from the Devilman series comes out of the ground after he defeats the robots and flies away. Akira Fudo, the main character from Devilman, who's actually Devilman himself, and in this version technically isn't Akira Fudo. You'd have to understand the difference between the anime and the manga to get that, but I'll continue anyway. Akira Fudo happens to be riding by on his motorcycle and sees Siren flying away. So he turns into Devilman and follows her. However, he's not the only one who follows her. Turns out Dr. Hell, who's from the Mazinger series, and I believe is the main villain, is waiting for her and meets up with Siren and the demons, and decides to convince them that they need to work together to defeat both Devilman and Mazinger Z. They agree, and the demons start attacking people and destroying robots. They attack some of Mazinger Z's friends and destroy some of his robots, and Devilman shows up in time to actually save their lives because, you know, he followed Siren to the cave and listened to the whole conversation. So he saves their lives, and then after that, one of the demons goes after Mazinger Z himself, and Akira has no choice but to turn into Devilman right in front of him and save his life. Devilman follows the demon and starts fighting him, but then the demon leads him to one of Dr. Hell's robots, who's actually getting the better of Devilman. However, Mazinger Z shows up just in time to save Devilman. At this point, the two decide to team up to fight the demons and the robots together. A big battle ensues, and talking about it wouldn't do it justice, because most of it is just fight scenes, which are very well done. So they defeat the demons and the robots, and the two of them, the film ends with the two flying away, Devilman returning home, and Mazinger returning home, and the two ending on good terms. When they initially met, they weren't the fondest of each other. I forgot to mention that earlier, but they did eventually reconcile and team up, obviously. The two never actually fought, so the title Mazinger Z vs. Devilman is slightly misleading, but really, that's all I have to say about the plot. Let's move on to my actual analysis. The Italian dub work sounded pretty good to me. However, like I said, I can't speak Italian, so I can't tell how good it truly was, but it sounded pretty good to me. There were a couple of things that I noticed right off the bat that were kind of different with the dub itself. Instead of saying devil when he transforms, he says Devilman, and instead of saying devil wing, devil beam, etc., he says wing of Devilman, beam of Devilman, arrow of Devilman. It's a bit weird, but I got used to it after a while. The first point I'd like to make is even though Devilman is very prominent in this definitely seems to focus a lot more on Mazinger Z's characters. Which is fine, I'm just not as familiar with Mazinger Z, so obviously I was more interested in the Devilman aspects. The fight scenes were really well done, and it definitely felt like another episode of Devilman, because I have been watching through the original 70s anime, and I have read a tiny bit of the manga, but not a ton. But I do know the ending, because the chapters, as I've said before, are out of order in the way I've been reading them. This nice big hardcover collection comes out next year, I think in anticipation for Devilman Crybaby, so I'm going to buy that and read the manga that way. But anyway, let's get back to my actual points. This only runs about 42 minutes, so it's only about a double-length episode of Devilman in aspect of time anyway. And I assume similar with Mazinger Z, as is customary with typical regular TV shows, they usually run about 20 to 30 minutes. This is obviously non-canon to the main storyline, so it is kind of just a fun side story, but it is pretty entertaining. It's got a lot of that 70s charm that the Devilman series itself has, and from what I can tell, the Mazinger series seems to have as well. I'm honestly thinking I should get into that. And this movie kind of made me decide that. I'm going to go ahead and give Mazinger Z a chance. Even though I haven't always been the biggest fan of mecha series, I really liked this movie, so I'm going to probably like Mazinger Z. I do like Devilman better, though. I can already tell that, because I love Devilman. So yeah, if you're a fan of Devilman, or I assume if you're a fan of Mazinger Z, I'm sure you'll enjoy this, especially if you love the 70s series of Devilman. One thing I'd like to say, though, is I feel like Discotek should get on it and release this movie on DVD or Blu-ray. Because they've already released all of Devilman and all of Mazinger Z, at least the 2 original series. If they want, they can do a pack. Because as far as I know, they haven't officially released Cyborg 009 versus Devilman in the US on DVD yet. It is on Netflix, but I don't think it's on DVD yet. So maybe they could do a pack with Mazinger Z versus Devilman and Cyborg 009 versus Devilman. And I think they should also include Ammon Apocalypse of Devilman, because that's never been released in the US as far as I know, or if it has, it's extremely rare, because I've never found it. Again, with that one, I can only ever find the Italian version on eBay, and I've never bought it. But maybe one day I will, because I watched this in Italian and I was alright with it. But anyway, like I said, it's a very fun, it's a lot more like the anime series of Devilman than the manga. It's a lot more goofy and lighthearted, and it's very colorful, but that's part of its charm. So if you're into like classic cartoons and old school stuff like that, I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Anyway, like I said, I definitely recommend you check it out if you're a Devilman fan or a Mazinger Z fan, but this has been Fugitive Red Eye, and you have a great rest of the day.
Subscribe to Fugitive Red Eye.